What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Cozy here, coming at you with some epic One Piece video content today. Now, it's been a week since I participated in the online regional thanks to Top Cut events, and I gotta tell you, the stream was really fun. It was exciting to be there, but your boy messed up a little bit and he didn't record the other side of the conversation, the opponent's side of things over on the Discord and the live cams and stuff like that. So now we're going to be doing a little bit of different content here. I'm actually going to be doing commentary over what I was experiencing and kind of going through those individual matches to give my perception of how things were going. So that way you guys can get the full experience of what exactly was going through my mind with my opponent being there at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and hop into each individual round. This one is round number 1 of the Top Cut event where we're taking on Gecko Moria. So I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. And if you do, let me know by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and ringing that notification bell. And I'll catch you guys in that next upload. Peace and love, y'all. All right, like I said, guys, this is round number 1 of the Top Cut event. And I got to tell you, playing into an unknown leader going into this, we both kind of had everything hidden at the same time. So we were just kind of big chilling, relaxing, seeing how things were going. And ultimately, I got to say, like, the moment he reveals this leader, it's absolutely wild to me on like how I'm going to play into this. I haven't played into a Gecko Moria leader, and I would probably say since like OP07, to be entirely honest. Of course, with the Gecko Moria ban, it was something that kind of hit very hard for this particular leader because a lot of stuff, it's just a graveyard recursion deck, essentially. At least that's how I played it in OP06 and OP07. So to see this leader again, it did bring a lot of nostalgia to me. I would definitely say that. And I seen multiple kind of like build ideas for this particular leader, and I don't know, man. Like, I like the pure Thriller Bark idea where you're just recurring your Thriller Bark stuff to kind of get different advantages and things like that. Run your cost minus things to play things like Absalom, to play different characters that's going to allow you to KO certain things. But ultimately, we're going to do the high roll. I roll a nice solid 10 going into the first roll. I forget what he rolls. I think he rolls less though. He also rolls a 10. So never mind. We're going to do a reroll here. And like, I think in this matchup, you want to try to take away his first curve so that way he can't, start doing things like a Perona and things like that. Your boy rolls a 9. He rolls a 9 as well. So we're going to have to do a third reroll. I'm going to run out of ideas here once we like roll the same amount of things together. Your boy rolls a 7, so I should probably be hitting the tables here after this recording. He hits a 10, so he gets to make the choice. I think he ends up going first in this matchup, but we're going to take a look here. Look at that starting hand. Let's see what we can find here. I think this was a keepable hand if I'm not mistaken. But I think I'm going to wait for him because he is technically first turn player. And when it comes to the One Piece card game, you always want to let first turn player decide if they're going to mulligan or not, because that's kind of just the order of operations written out in the rulebooks, if I believe. And it also gives you the idea of if they are going to be sending it back, which he does. And I'm also going to be sending mine back. How I usually do my mulligan hand is I usually put that hand in the middle of the deck so I can just like hand shuffle and kind of reorganize everything. Doing a little fan shuffle here. And of course with the card back facing me so that way I can't see what exactly I'm looking into, it's very, very helpful to prevent some of those cheating allegations that you would run into, especially if you are playing on a camera. And so ideally, if we are going second because he was first turn player, he chose to mulligan first, things like that. What we want to look for is how can we hit our curve, right? We do run like the 5 cost Luffy, we run Dragon, we run Rayleigh. So we run a lot of both even and odds. I think in this matchup, especially with him being a 5 life leader, and I want to try to keep his board down as much as I can. He's running Navy sleeves. So I'm going to safely assume here that he was running the Navy package of Gecko Moria. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't. I feel like it is probably the more efficient role or the efficient build for this particular deck. No, actually, I was turn player. So, so I decided to go with Uda. I need to find probably then like the Lucky Roo or a 2K or try to find some top end here that's going to help us out. What are we going to grab? So we grab the Lucky Roo. So this is going to help us essentially in more of the long run because there we can essentially get rid of whatever Thriller Bark character that they end up playing with the Gecko Moria effect. So like if they swing, we let their entire when attacking thing resolve first before we go to blocks and counter. So if they go, we play Lucky Roo, they swing Gecko Moria, use effect to play like Perona as an example to have us discard a card from our hand. We can then block with Lucky Roo, KO it, KO the Perona. So now they've really kind of just wasted that leader effect, but they got a card out of our hand too either way. But that's kind of like the mechanics behind it that I would want to look at. We pull a second Uda. So now we're going to look at the top 5 again. I would say though, probably with this particular camera angle that I have, it is a little rough to kind of see what I'm doing with my hand. So looking at that in hindsight, we kind of just want to zoom it out just a little bit more. We're going to grab the Yasop here for our turn 5 play to swing 6k next turn and be a 6k leader to help out. We'll swing 7. He'll gladly take the 7. I think in this particular situation, maybe swinging 6 would have been fine to leave one down open to fake for like a Divine Departure or something like that. Because the 6 is going to require at least one card out of a hand. But we just essentially give him another card in hand by him taking the life and possibly storing up more 2k counters for later in the game. So I would say in this case, let's swing 6 in the future. We're going to go ahead and use Shanks' ability to turn off his Gecko Moria 5k swing. He's going to pay 4 for the Kuzan to draw one. So now we have to find some way to get rid of the Kuzan, which I don't necessarily think we have an answer for, unless we swing 6, play Lucky Roo, just to KO the Kuzan at that point, which it looks like we might be doing that. We're going to start with 6. He's either going to give us a card out of hand or he's going to take another one. He's going to give us the Perona, which is a nice 2k to see. Pay 4. Play Lucky Roo, which we found off the first search. And we will pass there. So with him having a lot of cards in hand now that we're kind of looking at it, man, this is going to be a long and rough game for us for sure. But he's got a Perona in hand or in trash, which I mean, it's kind of like it's in hand anyway because he gets to play it for free off the Gecko Moria. Well, not necessarily for free. He cheats it by paying 3 Dawn to play a 4-cost character. So that is really, really good to kind of have in trash. He can use the Perona. He's going to swing first with the Kuzan. So that kind of works out in our favor, especially if we choose to block here and we just KO the Kuzan anyway. So we're going to block and then KO Kuzan. Gets it off the board. He minuses the cost for virtually nothing. We still have leader effect enabled. We are going to use leader effect, I guess, on the Gecko. I don't think that would have been the right play either. I think in my mind, he's got 4. So now he's going to have to put the Dawn under to use leader effect anyway to make it a 5k. So kind of just making him want to use that leader effect a little bit more would probably be the best course of action. He's going to rest 1 for the Sindri to mill 5. Mills a Sindri, a Kobe, a Hina, a Ryuma, and an Absalom. So now he's got a little bit more, some resources in trash. He's got 3. So he's going to swing 7 using effect to discard what though? What are you discarding here, bud? What are you thinking? What are we doing? What's the play? What are you discarding? He's going to discard a Kuzan, mill a Hina, mill a Laboon, and then I think he's going to play the Perona. Yep, he plays Perona, forces us to discard a card from hand. What are we going to discard, though? I think we discard a Brick, right? We discard a Yasop. And then swinging 7 to us, I think the best would be to take. Yeah, we're going to take. No trigger off of that. And he's going to go ahead and pass. So now he has a Perona on board, which, I mean, is fine. I mean, in hindsight, I don't think he would have played a blocker, so we could have probably just let the Kuzan live. But he had the Absalom. He could have like milled the Absalom and then played Absalom to KO the Lucky Roo, which, I mean, we would have KO'd the Absalom in that case and then swung into the Kuzan by going really, really tall. We're going to pay 5, I think. Yep, we're going to pay 5 for that Rush Dream Luffy from ST21. We'll go ahead and start with 6k to leader, putting 1 Dawn under Shanks. And see what he does. 6k to lead. He's got a lot of cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 it looks like. He's going to give up a Suru 2k. Interesting. Okay. Let's go ahead and go 6k to lead again. He will take that one. He's going to commit to the take. No trigger. So now we have the 2 Dawn up. I would probably say the best thing we can do here would be to pass with 2 Dawn active. We're going to feign that we have like a Red Hawk or something. And then we can like -1 the Perona, Red Hawk, KO the Perona, and then let him kind of do whatever he wants with swings. Because now we have a 6k Luffy on board. He's kind of got to deal with the Luffy more so than dealing with life, I feel, in my opinion. So like he has to minus cost and then probably pop the Luffy and then swing into life. That would probably be the better course of action going into this Gecko Moria play. I believe he's on 8. Ooh, he's going to start with a 6k swing. But to where? So now we can't like leader effect Red Hawk the Perona. So now we kind of got to swing into the Perona and deal with the board. Unless we play like a Beckman on the following turn to get rid of it. So like that's kind of the thought process that we have going into this particular matchup. We're going to leader effect on the Perona to save the Luffy. Oh. Leader effect minus the Gecko and then 2k into the 6k Perona swing. So he went for life there. That's an interesting take. So where does the next swing go? He's going to go ahead and swing 5 into Gecko, or with Gecko, no effect. It would be smart just to take it, but we're going to give him a 1k with the Yasop. 4 cards in hand. Because he didn't use leader effect, so he may not have the Perona. I think he's going to 6 cost sack here and pop the Luffy, which is actually a really good play. So he got a card out of hand. He got 2 cards out of hands for us. Discarding an Absalom to the Sakazuki and then pops the Luffy. So that's kind of where he passes the turn off for us. Is there a way for us to pop the Sakazuki though? That's the thing. And I think what would be really cool to see is for us to play like, oh, we just go straight into a dragon. So we're on 9 Dawn, we rest 2, using Dragon's effect to put 2 Dawn under the Shanks. So let's go ahead and swing 7 into, maybe not. Kind of like trying to figure out how many cards in hand. He has 5 cards in hand. So I think the best would be to swing 7 into Perona here. Because we want to try and clear out the board or starve him of resources right now, at least, until we can start seeing like some of the 10-drop Shanks. We can start seeing like the Goldie Roger. We can see ways for us to kind of get out of some bigger swings and kind of go from there. He's still thinking on the 7k though. That's kind of troublesome for me when looking at it from my perspective as a player, right? Is he's trying to figure out what is my next move after the 7k? I know it's going to be either a 9 or a 10k because we're going to swing with Dragon, because we wouldn't have played a rush character without wanting to swing anyway. And it would make no sense for us to leave him active to get out of that. So he's going to give us a 2 and a 1 with the Suru and a Hawk back is what that card looks like. Let's go ahead and swing 9. He's got, I think, 2 or 3 cards in hand left. Swing 9 to life. He's going to go ahead and take that. Put him down to 2 life to our 4. So we do have a huge life advantage. So at this point now, as the Shanks player, we should be looking to probably control the board as we starve him out of resources going forward. Because now he has to swing into our body with the dragon, or he's going to swing into our life to give us more cards in hand, to give us more resources, because we have the same number of cards in hand now. So he can try to use that leader effect to get more bodies on board for like different reasons and things like that. But I think if I was the Gecko player, I would try to get rid of this dragon as soon as possible and try to get some cards out of my hand. So that way I'm not swinging with a big body, my leader, probably put Dawn under Uta, or play another big rush character to swing even more. So like there's a lot of different avenues that this Gecko Moria now has to think about when going into this particular dragon. Because I could just play another dragon, put 2 Dawn under Uta, put 1 more under Uta, swing 5 with leader, 5 with Uta, and 9 with both dragons. And I don't think he would be able to counter out of those 4 different swings unless he plays like a blocker or something, which I don't think there's really a blocker in Gecko Moria that you essentially play, at least with the Navy build. I could be wrong though. That is an entirely possible thing, is that we could just be wrong. And they actually do have a blocker in this, and they do. Like, I know the Thriller Bark package has a blocker with, I think it's Cerberus, I think is the card name. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it is Cerberus is the blocker. It's a 2-cost blocker. So now he's kind of just looking through the trash to try to figure out what exactly is his best move here. So that way we can make sure to kind of get through it. I'm going to go ahead and update the stream here while we wait for a little bit of time. So don't mind the OP6 Gecko, trying to figure out how spacing and all that stuff would work, because we want to put like if we win or lose and things like that too. So, and of course we're going to reduce the size. We're doing all this midstream while he tries to figure out how to play. So, I mean, we have all the time in the world. I think his best bet is to get rid of the dragon though. To be entirely honest, he wants to remove the dragon and try to figure out what the next best play would be after that. Still organizing the stream. We're doing this all live too, by the way. So we're trying to figure out how exactly it's going to look. I think while we work on some of the stream, this was the first time we actually did a live stream of the regionals or an online tournament just in general for us. So to see how well we actually did on the fly, your boy pretty good. I'm gonna make some minor updates to the stream and things like that, just so that way, you know, the stream is a little bit better in terms of quality for you guys, because I want you guys to truly have a great experience. And as we're on the road to 250 subscribers, you know, this is just another step in making sure that A, the stream looks good, B, the channel is absolutely stunning, and C, to give you guys the best content that I possibly can here as a creator for the One Piece card game, as well as, you know, just in general, when we're live streaming different variety games and different TCGs and other things like that, and even doing community games. Like, all of that's going to be super epic and super awesome to see. So I can't wait to see how the channel continues to grow, and your guys' continued support in that journey is what makes this all worth it for me here over on the YouTube channel. Still hasn't figured out what he wants to do yet. Still splitting up his Dawn. Your boy got to get some caffeine up in him, just so that way we can continue focusing and trying to drive success, which reminds me, your boy need caffeine. Let me know down in the comments too, you guys, like, would you still play like a leader that had a fundamental card banned from its like move pool? So like Dofi with Jinbei, Gecko with Gecko, things like that. Let me know down in the comments. I kind of want to know your guys' perspective on it. He's going to swing 7 with Perona. We're going to use leader effect on probably his Sakazuki is what I'm thinking. We take the life, no trigger. Still has 7 Dawn active. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Dawn active, because apparently your boy can't count whatsoever. He's going to swing with Sakazuki, which I believe is a 6K in this case. But let's see kind of what we figure out here. He's going to swing with Sack. I'm assuming it's 6K. We're going to... 5 cards in hand. Let's go ahead and rest 1. It's going to be a Divine Departure. So Divine Departure goes to 8K. So we -1 on the Gecko, which, I mean, it sucks that, you know, the hard part about the online regional or an online tournament in general is it's kind of up to your opponent to put where the minuses are. So that way it makes it a little bit easier. 1 for a viewer and 2 for each of us to understand where each each like effect is essentially. So it's going to be a 6k swing. Still has 6 Dawn active, rests 2 to put him to 4 Dawn active. He's going to discard. Now he's got to figure out what he wants to play. Like if he plays Absalom, he's going to pop an Uda, which would make sense because I technically would have lethal on board if both of those cards in life would be bricks, because I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 active swings with 2 life. So if I went like 7, 7, so 5, 7, 7, 9 would be kind of hard for him to counter out of if his hand is in bricks, as well as the 2 cards in life that he has are bricks, but he still has 5 cards in hand, which is still pretty healthy. I'm still in the boat that we still go for board next turn, just so we can get rid of the Sakazuki, we can get rid of the Perona. We still have under enough cards in hand. He's going to discard the Ryuma for effect, milling off another Hina and a Sakazuki. And now he has to choose what he's going to play next. I would assume it'd be something like Hogback or Absalom would probably be your 2 better bets. He's going to go ahead and play the Hogback, grab a 2k out of trash, which would be the best. He's going to put Sakazuki, and he's going to put a Hina to the bottom of the deck. And then he's going to add a Sindri 2k to hand. So now we know at least 1 card in his hand is a 2k counter. So that safely assume he has another 2k. So he has 2 2ks, maybe 1 or 2 1ks, and 1 or 2 bricks. That's what I'm feeling he's got. And so kind of the thought process behind it, he's going to pay the last 4 for a Rebecca. Rebecca's probably going to grab like the Perona in this case for another 2k in hand, just so he can try to protect out of these swings and kind of just piece himself together from there. I still argue we go board. Even if he pulls another 2k out of hand, like, yeah, he's filling up his hand really, really well, but we're going to pretty much deplete his whole hand again. And he's still going to be in the same board state, if not a worse board state. You know you want to grab the 2k. Just grab the 2k. You know you want it. Do it. Grab the 2k. You know you wanna. Because you have no other cards that's going to pop anything right now, so you don't want to grab like a Hina to play the Hina. He grabs Absalom. He grabs a 1k. Maybe he doesn't have a 2k Perona in trash. That would probably be something detrimental. We're at 5 cards in hand. We're going to go to 6 with the draw. So essentially now we're both at 2 life, and this is kind of where we start to slow the game down, at least from the side of the Shanks player, right? We want to slow this game down now and deplete him out of resources. So like what would be really good to see is like a Rayleigh here. So we can -3 the Sakazuki, -2 the Perona, pop the Rebecca, and then we swing into... Interesting. We play Lime Juice, so the Rebecca can't block this turn. So are we trying to pose a lethal here? But we have 7, so I don't think that's the right move. Put 3. Think about it. Put 2, right? Yep. So we're going to go 11 into the Sakazuki to guarantee he has to give us 3 cards out of hand to protect the sack, because he can't use Rebecca, right? So he can either let go of the Sakazuki, which he ends up doing, which is good for us. That's very, very good for us, right? We now go 7 into the Perona, still requiring 2 cards out of hand to save this Perona. That leaves us with 3 more Dawn. So even if he counters out with the Perona swing, we still have another 3 Dawn to put under Uta to swing another 5 into the Perona to force him to give us more cards out of hand. Because again, Rebecca can't block this turn thanks to Lime Juice. So now we're just putting more pressure on his hand because he does have the Absalom. He's going to pop an Uta anyway. So like what would be his ideal play here, right? Is probably let the Perona go and not give up those cards in hands, because now he still has to protect himself from like bigger swings, right? Going into the next turn, essentially I'm setting himself up to try to succeed. And of course he does get rid of the Perona. That does put us to 5 cards in hand. And just, casual 5k to lead. Give us a card. You can give us a card, or you can go down to 1 and possibly pose a threat to lethal next turn if I play like 2 Luffys or I play a Shanks. Go ahead and give us a card out of hand. That's cool. Gives us the Absalom he already found with the Rebecca. We'll pass there. Still arguing that we can run into a Rebecca block next turn. So essentially he has 3 life right now. Unless we Rayleigh and then we just start popping things on board again. I don't think Gecko Moria in general runs any rushers. So we're okay here this turn just to sit here and see what he plays. If we have the 8-drop Rayleigh would be a really good thing here because then we can just pop the Rebecca, swing like a 9/6 into life, guarantee at least 1 hit. He's gonna swing 2 into Uda. I could just be cheeky and like save the Uda using leader effect because that would just be absolutely nuts to see. But I feel like we save leader effect for like the hogback swing or the Gecko Moria swing. So we'll let the Uda go here. I think that's totally fine because we can just swing Uda into Sindri next turn and make use of our second Uda that we played turn 2. Outside of that though, like what's his game plan here? I mean, granted we don't have like a blocker, so if he swings really tall into the dragon, that kind of puts us at a disadvantage because now we kind of have to put some investment into like dragon. He could swing 15 into dragon, but that would be counterproductive for him as the player, turn player, right? So what exactly can we kind of focus towards and making sure that we get there, right? And ultimately the determining factor to it is his turn play, right? It's more of do I try to put him down with lethal or put me into a lethal range by taking 1 or 2 of my life, the last 2 life that I have, or does he try to swing really tall into the dragon to try and take pressure off of himself? And then play like another Rebecca or something like that. Because he could put 6 Dawn under the hogback, swing 11, forcing 2 cards out of hand for me. Or 1 if I use leader effect. So like he's kind of in this bad spot where he could go like 9/9, use leader effect to figure something out. But I think he's going to go 6. Yeah, so 6 to leader, using leader effect. To pitch a Kuzan, which was a brick in hand, to mill a hogback and a Sengoku blocker is what that looked like. I don't think that, I mean, it depends on what he grabs, right? He's going to grab a Perona, but instead of using the discard effect, he's going to minus cost on, I believe, the dragon. Which he does. So he's going to minus the dragon. So does he have a way to pop the dragon though? With like another Sakazuki maybe? I'll go ahead and give you a 2k though for that 6k swing. 4 cards in hand. But what is your plan here? Like what do you want to do, right? Like if it was me, I would probably swing the hogback. Pays 4 for Laboon. Rests Laboon to put minus cost on the dragon some more. So that puts us to a 7. So dragon's a 1 cost, pays 3, maybe for a Brook? No, he plays Kobe. And Kobe's going to be the one that KOs the dragon here, discarding a hogback. Excuse me. So he gets rid of that big pressure. Now he has a full board. So I still think like maybe a Rayleigh here would be a good call. So like -3 to the -3 to Perona, -2 to hogback, pop the Rebecca, swing into the Laboon, and try to like clear as much of this board as I can get, right? We're spacing out the Dawn, 6 Dawn, 4 Dawn. I'm not sure this would still be the right call though. It depends on what we have in hand, right? I think he's got a lot of swings on board. So it's kind of just like he has one card in hand. I'm going to gamble that it is not a 1K. I think it's a brick. So exactly the play here would be what? Swing 5 into Laboon, clear the board down. Because I don't have lethal this turn. There's no way I can lethal with 3 life. Because he has 2 life and a blocker, right? So let's just go ahead and swing 5, test the water, test the hand. He only has a card in hand. So what exactly did you want to do here? Because he's thinking he has lethal, right? I think that's his mindset right now is I have lethal on board with 1, 2, 3, 4 different attacks. And in the hopes that I don't have like a Red Hawk trigger or a Bad Manners Kick Course trigger to -3K something. So those are some of the bigger things that he probably is more worried about. He's going to give us a 2K, so no cards in hand. So we go 5 to Laboon. Get rid of the Laboon. Because that shuts down kind of what else we want to do at that point. We could probably play another dragon, swing into life, force the Rebecca block. Or he's just going to give me the Rebecca block now. Rest 8. We're going to play Rayleigh. Beautiful. So we're going to -3 something, -2 something, and pop another. So, okay, cool. So -3 on Perona, -2 on the Hogback. And we'll just go ahead and pop the Hogback. Reduces his swing count tremendously. He still has the Laboon on board. So I think the better play in this case would have been to -3 the Perona, -2 the Laboon, pop the Laboon, just so that way we can guarantee that the Rayleigh stays safe. But I think in my mindset during this particular round, though, is we played Rayleigh, -3 the Perona. Perona's not swinging now. So he's got to put Dawn under Kobe, Dawn under Laboon, and Dawn under the leader. Or he can rest the Laboon. Not going to really pop anything if he plays Absalom other than like the Uta. So my thought process was he draws 1 card. And the odds of it being something that's going to pop one of our characters if he Laboons is slim to none, especially in this case because we have really starved him out of cards. And he can't really use leader effect effectively here because he would technically not have a blocker now at this point. So he could try to... I mean, if he uses leader effect, he discards the 1 card he has in hand and isn't able to draw at that point. So kind of like, what exactly did you want to do here? And if there is a point in time where he would at most go to 3 cards in hand, if I play a rusher, he is kind of spent. That's the big thing, right? Because we test the water with Shanks. We play like Dragon, put 2 Dawn under Lime Juice if it lives. And then swing, what, 5? I think we would play Dragon first. Swing 5 with the Lime Juice to guarantee maybe a card out of hand or guarantee that life. Swing 7 with Shanks. And then swing 9 with Dragon, 8 with Rayleigh. That kind of gets us to lethal. Or we swing 5 to lead first, right? Play Shanks to swing 8, 12, put him down to maybe no life or win the game. It depends on what that 1 card is. I think he's trying to piece together like a strategy to get where he needs to get. And ultimately, I'm not sure kind of what his game plan is. He's going to swing 7 to lead with Kobe. We're going to use leader ability, put him down to 6, and give up a 2K. I believe that puts us to 3 cards in hand. Yep, 3 cards in hand. We still have a hand advantage. We still technically have a board advantage because just we have that bigger body. The Perona isn't going to swing because it's at a 2K right now. So not sure exactly what he would want to do. He's going to swing 7 with Laboon. Sure, we'll take that one. No trigger puts us to 4 cards in hand. The most he could probably do is put us down to like no life and hope we don't have a rush. I think that's kind of his thought. Because if that 1 card he has in hand is any type of counter, I think we lose. Swing 8, leader effect. What are you thinking of grabbing? Because you can't grab, you don't have any blockers. Because you could, no, because even if you Sindri, it mills. I don't necessarily think you have anything to add. You're going to discard a 2K to mill off a Rebecca and a Suru to grab the Hog back, to add Perona back to hand, and put those 2 cards to the bottom that he milled, and then passes the turn. So we now know it is a 2K. So we can swing 7, guarantee a hit, and then I'll take the last life. That makes sense. Okay. So we can swing. I still think he has 2 life. Like we could just no, because we would still need to play like a blocker to survive. Because he still has like the Hog back. Oh, we just play a dragon. So then we put the 2 Dawn under Shanks, because that's a guaranteed hit. We know that card is a 2K. So I think we go like 7 to lead, and then use the last 2 Dawn to go like 7, 9, 10, and hope he doesn't have it. So 7's a guaranteed hit. 9 with dragon. And that's a guaranteed hit because he has 2 cards in hand. So now we go 10. If it's a third 2K, which is very unlikely, it's not going to get there. And it doesn't. They were both 1Ks. So the most he could have got was 9. So I think that was the right play, just to go 7, 9, 10 and just hope for the best. Like it was either he had it or he didn't. But ultimately, we did get the win against Gecko Moria. And that's going to put us 1-0 into the regional tournament for Top Cut events. But let me know how you guys felt about that video. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. And I'll catch you guys in that next upload. Peace and love, y'all.